Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to Sin on the Chat. This is your girl, Sin, all right? I hope everyone is good and healthy and staying positive today, right? If you have not subscribed to my motherfucking channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button now. Just hit it, all right? And while you're at it, hit the notification bell, all right? That way you know every time I post up these videos. And if you want to chat with me, you can chat with me up in the comment section. All right, link below. I also add my email if you have any questions or inquiries. My Instagram page for this channel, which I'm not very active on. But anyway, today what I want to do is I want to get into this 50 Cent versus Jeezy situation. If you have not seen that 50 Cent kind of put Jeezy on blast on an Instagram post yesterday. All right, I'm gonna break this down for you. I'm gonna explain what this is about. All right, I'm gonna try to do this briefly because this is a long backstory, but I'm gonna summarize it for you guys. All right, so if you don't know, 50 Cent has been working on a docuseries that is based on BMF's story. Okay, if you do not know who BMF is, or who they were, or who they are, then you are in the minority. BMF is the Black Mafia family, okay? It was pretty much a drug organization, huge drug organization from Detroit, all right? So they was started by these two brothers, Big Meech, okay, who we hear about all the time, and his brother Southwest T. Now, recently, Southwest T was released due to the current pandemic situation. What our government has been doing is releasing a bunch of nonviolent offenders, all right? So luckily for Southwest T, he got swept up in that and he got an early release, a really early release, because I think he was due to come out maybe like in the 2030s at some point. So Southwest T and Big Meech were both sentenced to 30 years in 2008, all right, for running a drug organization. They were selling about 2,500 kilos a month in Atlanta alone, okay? They were spread out all over the country, all right? And they had some plugs out of state, out of the country too. But they were all over the country, all right? But just in Atlanta alone, I know it was reported that they were moving over 2,500 keys a month, all right? Which is a big fucking deal. So they got crushed by the feds back in 2008, both sentenced to 30 years. Now, how does Jeezy play into this? Well, as some of you already know, Jeezy had a very, very close-knit association with BMF, all right? What BMF tried to do is they tried to legitimize their brand by putting on local rappers or backing local rappers, one of them being Jeezy, the other one being Blue Da Vinci, okay, who was actually signed to their label. Jeezy, on the other hand, was not ever actually signed to BMF. He actually went on to sign to Def Jam and then create his own label, CTE. Now, throughout the course of their relationship, Jeezy and Big Meech grew to be really tight. And it's kind of unclear what participation, if any, Jeezy had in the actual drug operations of BMF, or if he was just strictly an artist. All right, it was said that, you know, Big Meech was putting videos and jewelry and things like that up in Jeezy's videos. They were definitely promoting Jeezy big time all throughout Atlanta, in the strip clubs, promoting the music and things like that. And they had a huge presence. I mean, Big Meech, and they put billboards up and everything. So, which is kind of what led to their downfall, because Big Meech was so flashy, him and his crew. The brother, on the other hand, Southwest T, was more inconspicuous, okay? So, fast forward, it seems like, well, I'm going to backtrack a little bit. It seems like Jeezy at that time had the foresight or the judgment, good judgment, to know that, you know, he didn't want to be locked in with BMF. He probably saw where this was heading. All right. I think for many of us, if you can remember, back when BMF was out before they were taken down by the feds, many of us probably thought the same thing. Why are these people so flashy. I remember seeing a DVD before they were arrested, and we all had heard, even up in New York, that they was hustling, and that was everybody's dream who was in the game at the time. Was like, yo, I need to run into somebody from BMF. I need to get put on. So everybody knew. So if people in the streets know like that, the feds know. And I think Jeezy had the foresight to know, this shit is not going to end well. And he was serious about his career as a rapper, as an artist. And so he never signed with them. Fast forward to now, Southwest T is released. 50 Cent has some communication with Southwest T and the guys from BMF because he's working on that docuseries. Remember, I mentioned in the beginning of this video. And he said, Jeezy, pretty much like, where you at? You ain't answering your phone. T is home. We don't want no passes. We don't want no concert passes, no backstage passes and things like that. So I'm curious, one, what do they want from Jeezy? Right? Does Jeezy owe some money? What is just like, do they feel like he's indebted to them because they backed him early throughout his career? What exactly is it that they are looking for from Jeezy? Okay. Jeezy is in a very, very different place than he was back in 2003. All right. This is when they were backing him. And this was early on in his career in 2003 when Jeezy was kind of associated with all and early mid 2000s. So now Jeezy has, we know him as Mr. Trap or Die, but now he's into philanthropy. He's engaged to a daytime talk show host, Jeannie Mai from The Real. Okay, he is sponsored by corporations and things like that. So this is a very different Jeezy as to who he was when these guys were out. All right, and this is a very, very common issue that arises with people, especially people in the music industry, people who grow to stardom or who become very successful. A lot of people from their past want to, and I'm not saying that this is the case, but a lot of people expect things from them when they grow up to blow up, right? Like people want them to come back, or they feel like they have to be pulled back in. But really, you're not obligated to anyone, all right? I'm sure at that time that BMF was helping Jeezy with his music career, they were trying to help themselves, legitimize themselves by having a legal entity. Right? So it was a two-way street as far as I see, right? I know since then there have been some talkings about, I know Blue Da Vinci kind of was insinuating that, it was strange that Jeezy wasn't implicated in the federal indictment and things like that. So there was some rumblings. There have been some rumblings between these guys. This isn't really nothing new. But I'm just curious to know what it is exactly that these guys expect from Jeezy. And this is something, quite frankly, that I feel 50 can relate to because he has actually talked about this in his new book. All right, he spoke about, outgrowing people and having to leave people behind because they don't evolve, okay? And you are growing at a pace that, where you just have to let people go. You have to leave people behind. So 50 can actually relate to that. Jeezy, maybe he will, maybe he won't reach out. But I think that if he decides to reach out, he's going to have to do so with caution because, yes, Southwest T was released early. He's going to be on home confinement or house arrest for the duration of his sentence or however they see fit. And he doesn't know, or nobody really knows what his intentions are, okay? Is he going to try to dibble and dabble? Is he going to be up to nefarious things? Jeezy doesn't want to be tied into that. Everyone knows. If you don't know, if you watch movies or anything, you hear music, you know that when it comes to the federal government, if you even have ties to someone who is connected to any conspiracy organizations, it is very easy and likely that you will be swept up in that with them. Regardless of how small of a role you played, if you didn't have anything to do with it, you could be mistaken to have something to do with it or to have knowledge of these things going on. So Jeezy has to move cautiously. He can't just jump into it and just, start associating with people again, all right? So, and he has all of these things going on. So, you know, 50 has talked about having to leave people like Lloyd Banks and Tony Ayo behind and things like that. It's just how the shit goes. It's how the cookie crumbles. But I just wanted to give you guys a quick breakdown of what was going on there, and I want to get your opinion on it. Let me know what you guys think. Is Jeezy indebted to these guys? Should he reach out? Should he, you know, has he come to a point where he's just grown up and moved on and grown past that? What do you guys think about this? And it's 50, like we all know 50 is promoting a book right now, and any publicity is good publicity. This is how, you know, celebrities look at things like this. But 50 is always calling somebody out. And actually his book, I'm going to do a video on parts of his book later on because it's a really good book. I love 50 Cent. He has great insight and he shares great advice and messages in that new book. But I want to know what you guys think. 50, come on, don't instigate shit. Like, leave these people alone. But let me know your thoughts. All right, and with that, I'm out.